Dr. Fate is one of those beings to where if the multiverse is being cracked, he can give you a visual image of how it looks of when everything's in jeopardy. Won't that come in handy? But stay tuned. Did you know freaking Superman at one point was possessed by Nabu from the Dr. Fate helmet and crap? Ain't that crazy? Stay tuned. Dr. Fate is one of those characters that have had many wielders thanks to the helmet, Nabu, a lot of different properties of magical stuff. That's why you might see Dr. Fate look a little bit different. Outfits look slightly different. On top of this, DC likes to change their continuity a lot too. But I won't be really distinguishing between the different characters all that much. Who's the chosen of this doggone helmet? Imagine being in an Egyptian type area, chilling and wandering around the pyramid type stuff, making discoveries with your dad, doing some archaeologist type stuff. Then you come across this cosmic godlike being known as Nabu, a being that you don't really understand at all, a being that taught you magic, a being whose physical form got worn out throughout the years. It's even stated right here that through the centuries, he needs a new host. And that's the whole purpose of a human host being a Dr. Fate for this energy type being. That's when you get to all these helmets, got this cloak, got the amulet, and all this good stuff. He's one of those characters, I would say, I think we all would agree, is one of the most versatile characters of all time when it comes to the sheer amount of different things he can do to you because of magic, right? But let's get into it. Dr. Fate. Magic users are pretty powerful for the most part when it comes to comics. Dr. Fate is no exception to this. Just because of the nature of magic itself, flight, super strength, energy projection, shielding to enhance your durability, all the 9 yards. Dr. Fate is technically a mantle. The helmet of fate is technically a powerful magical artifact that makes anybody that wears it a ridiculous powerhouse. When it comes to the wizarding world, one could say that knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the more spells you learn, the more you learn about the different books or discover new books or spells, how you can use them in the middle of battle like battle IQ, one can say the more powerful magician you are. And Dr. Fate has a lot of evidence suggesting stuff like this. It's stated that he knows the secrets to the universe, a being without end and supposedly can't be killed. He let the human spirit known as Miss Nelson, you shall know the multiverse. You shall be one not only with him, but with Dr. Fate as well. It's like it instantly gives you knowledge. And her mind is stretched beyond its limits, for no mortal can truly grasp the unknowable. So much knowledge of the universe that I can't really explain it to you. I gotta show you that even beings like Nabu can't comprehend it. When Detective Chip puts on the helmet, he becomes pretty much awake to everything. Stated in newer-ish stuff, he is probably the most powerful sorcerer of this level of reality. It's stated he can see the very fabric of all creation, the molecules and atoms that make us. You can feel their bronian vibrations held in places by the tiniest of forces. You come to realize that all of existence is just a dust held in place by the will to not fall apart. Magic is rooted in Earth's culture and logic. These alien ghosts can push right through it. He even helped Batman make instant metal stuff. So yeah, knowledge is power. Thanks to the helmet having a lot of different histories of different people it's been on, one could say different origins, one could say. Most of these feats basically apply to the helmet, which is why you see a female Dr. Fate, why Mordru has become a Dr. Fate at one point. Yeah, the other magical being. Even the Spectre has become a Dr. Fate. Imagine that. Martian Manhunter has become a Dr. Fate. Detective Chimp has become a Dr. Fate. You know, the main one being Kent Nelson. Imagine being a student coming across this magical artifact this powerful. Even freaking Superman has worn the helmet and been possessed by Nabu Dr. Fate. That a scary sight. Even without Nabu, this helmet makes you strong as crap when it comes to magical abilities and stuff. Whoever wears this helmet gets the aid of a cosmic being known as Nabu, if his presence is in there. But even without his presence, that doesn't just make this powerless, you know what I'm saying? It's even said that the helmet contains its own universe. The helmet itself is such a threat that once mastered, it can endanger all of creation. It's also been stated about the helmet's power, that if you would get this helmet, he'll be more powerful than all the other gods together and take the throne of all worlds. So the reason why Dr. Fate is so beast is because of this freaking helmet itself. Aside from his cloak and amulet and newer recent type stuff, he can summon a sword and shield to do melee type combat, or one can say close quarters type combat when he needs to. Not only that, you get aid from a cosmic or godlike type being known as Nabu. You also get a cloak to help you levitate, and other magical items like an amulet grants telepathic type abilities, making him immune to psychic or telepathic attacks, or even control beings with their mind, being able to control a legion of slaves. It doesn't really matter who's the current Dr. Fate because it has the previous Dr. Fates in it you can kind of ask for advice from. Stating here is Kent and other beings that were Dr. Fate in the past to get advice from him, and etc. If you don't know what's going on, if you wear the helmet. Oh, and who would have guessed it? The amulet also contains its own universe, just like the helmet contains its own universe. One can say it's like a mindscape type universe to where other beings inside or the multiple beings within the helmet can interact with each other. One could say, this is not it. The person wearing it, this silhouette right here, will actually get mentored and just magical on its own, so he won't be completely useless without the helmet and stuff. Even in recent stuff, when Nabu talks to the different hosts and stuff, he can talk you through the helmet and make you learn about the ancient Egyptian stuff. There was even a point in comics where the Dr. Fate host said, "Forget you. I'm going to take your power, Nabu, and put it in other Dr. Fate's body. Your power is ours till we say otherwise." That's funny, ain't it? Stating he has much to learn. Taught him how to levitate himself, move objects, learn the secrets of magic. A literal mentor. He knows the secret of the molecular control of your own body. Men will call it magic, he even says. This is Kent Nelson in this particular occasion. Not to mention Dr. Fate has his own base of operations technically, the Tower of Fate, a place that is beyond space and time, a place that has a whole bunch of artifacts. It's one of them places you wouldn't want to get stuck in because time passes differently in a place such as this. Stated only almighty beings like the Spectre can penetrate the tower's defenses or shielding or magical shield. The Fate Tower exists in all reality. Nabu, the Lords of Orders and Chaos had an internal war, and this is where he comes from. He's a part of all of that mess. One of these lords descended to Egypt, this one, Nabu. Nabu is a being so powerful it's implied he can reverse the effects of the zero-hour parallax event, like that multiversal event. The thing about Nabu, he's similar to characters like Mordru. He has no real body technically. He's kind of made of pure energy, you know? Nabu's pretty cocky about his power, even says he's the most powerful of these lords. In this godly state, he looks like just a floating helmet and etc. Just to give you a perspective on Nabu on his own, not necessarily having a hold, just give you an idea of how Dr. Fate is, because whoever wears this helmet gets access to Nabu and the magic power of the helmet and etc. along with being taught by Nabu magic on their own. He's shown to be able to fight freaking Spectre level beings that can wipe out multiple universes or the entire multiverse with ease if they wanted to, because they're bigger than time and space itself and etc. He can open portals to places normal beings couldn't access. Nabu can enter your mind and body swap, has battled teams like the JSA, not counting him, but the helmet itself is ridiculously fast to where it passes through space-time, through other dimensions, into black holes where it was stretched and distorted by immense gravitational forces, and through metaspace achieving the velocity of God, whatever that means. It's the speed at which the universe contemplates itself. It can even outrace the Big Bang, universe-wide explosion type things that's really fast. Can't make this stuff up. The helmet itself can simply be reformed after it's crushed because magic. So how strong is he? We have seen him punch, even though magicians usually don't need to, or just slamming gorillas. Physicals is not his main attribute, even though he has super strength. It shows that he's just not made of glass when he gets slammed by a creature. Like this big creature, he uses like a little magic lasso to kind of swing him over there like that, withstands attacks from beings like the King Grundy and like newer type stuff. When you're a magical type character, strength isn't everything, but it still gives you a decent amount of super strength, like ripping arms off, even strong enough to tear up a large chunk of the bridge with his super strength or telekinesis, flight, and etc. I'm tired of you stupid car doors. You car doors gotta know better than that. You stand no chance. Even when Dr. Fate is in possession of a child, it's still implied he's in the Powerhouse Rangers, obviously, because he got hit with lightning from Black Adam, was possessed, and he was okay from it. How many types of versatile magic can he actually produce? He can turn stuff into dust, can fly through walls via intangibility, can take a trip to the spirit world, teleportation, forces the angel to reveal their true form. If a being is inside of a host, he can literally rip you out of the host. Super senses, like being able to detect stuff, whether it be temples or just detect a demon. Invisibility, can come back to life thanks to his magical nature. It's kind of hard to permanently kill a being like this. Dr. Fate can summon allies by simply opening up a portal if he needs to, can change the weather, turn a guy into stone, can purge the evil out of you, turns a knife into a snake, trap you in a spiked ball, can heal you if you got a cut on your arm, spells to make Superman immune to magic, can identify beings by their soul like Martian the Manhunter, so you can't hide from him, he sees you through your soul, buddy. If looking for something, it can scan the entire galaxy very quickly, can create shields to survive in space, can blast with winds to stop a building from falling over, make it rain for folks that are dealing with a drought, can travel to different universes, like bringing the Justice League and stuff to different universes, can look into different universes, like on some crystal ball type stuff, and can travel to the underworld. Time manipulation type spells that leave you suspended in time, can take you back to the timeline you're supposed to be at when you're in the wrong time frame. He can roll back the borders of time-space continuum. He will show you worlds beyond those clouds. Created a rift in the etheric membrane which binds space and time. can summon stuff to intimidate Nazis like cosmic horrors, not afraid of doing it more than once. The classic magic thing like sending you to another dimension, banishing you. This dude can reconstruct Green Lantern type constructs if they've broken up. The main thing Dr. Fate specializes blast power. Houses energy blast, telekinesis, what he can lift with the telekinesis, offensive raw power. His raw power is shown when he's defeated beings that had the power of pre-crisis Superman in the old days. He can just simply give himself Superman level power just from his magic, like just approximate his superpowers. Thanks to Dr. Fate and Nabu helping Dr. Fate get power, it's stated that he can reverse the effects of big events like the 0 Hour Parallax event, the same event that was literally compared to the Crisis on Infinite Earths event where all the universes were in jeopardy. Dr. Fate, no matter which one we're talking about, has the power to channel magic of 100 realms, 1,000 worlds, thanks to Nabu and the stuff put together. Let's start this off with a bang. Yes, he was able to move an entire planet via telekinesis into the sun. The planet had a gun that was firing out nebulas. This dude has a super gun that can destroy planet-sized globes. He puts out so much energy in the middle of a fight, the Earth itself changes below him, like collateral damage type stuff. This dude, Dr. Fate, can fire miniature sun jets, you my dude. He was a valuable asset of actually helping seal up Solomon Grundy along with Alan Scott, using their power together. He has spells that will seal off Earth's atmosphere so Ultraman can't enter it. This guy created change, in which the reason these change was made to be able to help Superman move continents. Just because you have the power of a miniature sun doesn't change the fact that Dr. Fate still can seal you up with his magic power. You can get an idea of how big he can grow. This kind of gives you an idea of how strong he is, growing into the size of a planet if he wished to, or even repairing the planet if he wished. He's a being that can tap into the power of creation itself, and his power can be felt in other universes, like literally tremors from Earth 1 all the way to Earth 2. They can feel his might. It even reaches to nether space. Other fates, male, women, still have raw power enough to harm Spectre level beings. Shields from an explosion created by Eclipso. Spectre. Eclipso possessed Superman. She can shield against stuff like this as Dr. Fate. Can even bind Eclipso possessed Etrigan. Yeah, Eclipso was possessing everybody. Multitasking at the same time, doing Eclipso possessed Satana too. Also not afraid of blasting through Eclipso like Eclipso was a problem. Can block blast from Lord of Order level beings. Even if she doesn't necessarily have a shield, she's still durable as crap. Can absorb and redirect energy blast. Can get large as crap, and yeah, hit you while she's this big. Fate has fought members of the Egyptian pantheon, of course. Gods can drain powerful being power to make them weaker. You'll be lucky to land a clean hit on him. Stated his body can't be harmed because of his weird magical nature. Withstood magic lightning. Fire ain't gonna cut it. He can will his power to be pure force, whatever the heck that means. Wrap your head around that. Can't just speed blitz him because he has auto shields. Gets thrown through so many dimensions by the Spectre. Even withstood hits from mind-controlled Superman. Can convert his bodily forces into pure power. Dr. Fate has overpowered some witches before. Mayan deities don't want no smoke. And Dr. Fate, if he wishes, he can blast with enough power to blow away a city. The being known as God's Wrath, known as Spectre. He breaks through his barriers, letting you know. And he also has gotten in a full-blown fight. You see the diverse spells by making more than one of himself. As you can see like that. They fight for panel, changing sides, doing different magical spells. You can see that he's not a fleeting comparison, which is respectable for Dr. freaking Fate. Not only that, Spectre even said out his own mouth, there was a point where he had a power loss. Spectre even said, not long ago, you were nearly as powerful as myself. That's respect from Spectre, top tier God multiversal level being. Alan Scott believes arguably the most powerful sorcerer in the cosmos, which makes sense. Dr. Fate battled beings that's a threat to the multiverse. Lords of Order, Lords of Chaos level beings. He has to face off against these ridiculously powerful beings. He casts them out and has to imprison them. Hawkman's son, for example, becoming Dr. Fate is funny. That he can exist in two places at once. In fact, we see Dr. Fate fighting beings like Mordru in the extended type of battles. Mordru being one of the best magical people in DC is pretty freaking impressive. And we're not talking about just scuffling in a little baby scuffle with being this top tier. I'm talking about actually getting the W on him with his raw power in general, or his magical nature, binding him like this within the Rock of Eternity. You will stay. The shields of Dr. Fate can withstand so much blunt power that even if it blows away a universe, he can shield from it. Entire world, universes with an S, Dr. Fate shielded from. Dr. Fate can simply summon tornadoes when he wishes. Note that the helmet itself is, once mastered of this helmet, it can endanger all of creation. That's saying a lot about the power of Dr. Fate in general. And newer-ish type stuff get blasted back. Blue Beetle, blast apart large stone. Most versatile with different types of energy, like large bolts of lightning when you can blast with ease. Other top 10 magicians like Zatanna get blasted back by Dr. Fate. When Wonder Woman was possessed by Cersei, blasted her back. You see on plenty of cases of him telekinetically lifting stuff up. Comes in handy. Big, huge creatures that are actually bigger than buildings. He has enough blast power or binding spells to bind him, even though he's this freaking large. No matter which era, he can always become giant. Nabu, without necessarily having no host, is strong enough to fight Mordru, taking the battle to other dimensions. Yeah, two magical Titan beings. It's natural to think, why would a magical being like this need speed? You can see Superman and Martian Manhunter mid-blitz. He's able to react to this blitz, then fix them up in the process. Dr. Fates are not afraid of just straight up outspeeding you in raw speed. I mean, we already know he's fast. The helmet itself is all I need for speed, really. He's using his binding spells, like always in more current stuff. This same being, it stated he could destroy cities. No, he could actually destroy worlds. I have a video about John Constantine. He seems to be able to overpower his magical assault here. They imply that these magicians can destroy the spear of the gods, like Dr. Fate, under certain contexts, of course, amplifying himself with other things. Need I remind you of the multiversal map, how the spear of the gods is outside the multiverse itself. All these universes inside of here. Destroying this would be impressive as heck, but they're talking about something that's bigger than this thing outside of this. I definitely think if Nabu allows it, and if they wanted to just go crazy, Dr. Fate technically should be able to blast away the multiverse. A good argument can be made for Dr. Fate. It heavily depends on which form and how powerful he is, of the user of the Fate. A lot of the times he got access to a cosmic type being like Nabu, so they have no choice but to be a beast no matter what, right? People don't really want to give respect to magicians for their just raw power output in general, but he's one of those characters where he has a lot of power output along with ridiculous amount of versatility and hacks that can beat you, even if you are way stronger than him with power-wise, even though that's going to be hard to do itself, but then you still got other ways to take you on other than ways of just brute force, like astral projection, using different elements you might be weak to that you might not know you're weak to, stuff like that. How strong do you think Dr. Fate is? Do you think he's too overpowered? Do you think they need to chill out with giving him all his power? I know you're probably thinking, how does a character with this kind of power ever lose? Yeah, he's facing off against a lot of different overpowered beings. Thing about DC is that DC magic people, he has a lot of people to face against that's on his level and stuff like that. Your little feeble-minded universes are nothing compared to the might of Dr. Fate. What did you learn about Dr. Fate that's new? What powers did you think he had, but you didn't know they was crazy to this extent? Let me know in the comments below. But I also have to give a quick shout out to those that took the time to donate to the channel. Helps out a lot, believe it or not. Respect Dr. Fate, no matter which version of him, really. He's had a lot of different hosts over the years.